Alright, so I posted the Caro Kann Adventures 3, and I'm posting this one together with that one, so you get 2 episodes in one after a couple of months of taking a break from competitive chess. You can see my rating is about 1200. It's the same guy I played in the last game, and that's posted as Caro Kann Adventures 3. Check that one out first. That was a bit more of an interesting game than this one. This one gets kind of boring, so I'm actually only going to show you the first half of the game to see that I was successful in winning a pawn. So here we go. He plays the d4 variation, which I usually like to see because usually that means they're going to end up playing the advanced variation after d5. But instead he went ahead and exchanged, and we end up with the standard stuff. This time he has a castle instead of leaving his king out here, which is good. So I tighten up my middle and prepare to attack that d4 square. Now here's what I'll do with this one. Instead of just pushing the queen right away, since his bishop is still back here, I like to use this knight move sometimes just to throw things off. Last time he saw the queen move right away. This time I'll use the knight and see what I can't pull off. Now the purpose of this move is twofold. Ultimately, the purpose is to make him decide what to do with the dark squared bishop. And if he doesn't realize that, he's going to be moving too slow and he's going to make some big mistakes. What he decides to do is try and pin my knight to my queen. Now this is fine with me because I can just move my queen now that his bishop's not defending b2, and I can just move on as normal. I decided first to push him back excuse me, with that pawn move. I didn't really accomplish a whole lot, but it kind of kept him from being able to retreat back here, which was good, or to remove his pin on the knight, which is also fine. So now when I move my queen, you can see I'm attacking b2 is hanging, and his pawn on d4 is hanging as well. He defends with knight to e2. Now I can win the pawn outright. I like bishop or knight to f5 first because it makes him move his bishop again, and I can pile up on that center pawn and win it. And I'd rather win the center pawn than the b pawn. The tricky part about winning the b pawn is that when he moves his rook over, I back my queen away. He can take my b pawn as well. There's lots of reasons why it's better to win this center pawn first than attack the b pawn. And all the years I've been playing this variation, well, I've been playing this variation 2 years, but all the time I've been playing this variation, I found that trying to snap that b pawn off real quick usually isn't as good of an advantage of winning the center pawns. So if you're playing these variations, generally choose the center pawns if you can win those first. So here we go. He can't defend this pawn. He needs to keep himself from losing a piece, so he moves that back, and then we trade here. And I go ahead and trade queens because that leaves me with a knight in the center of the board, and I prefer that instead of him keeping his queen. When I'm up material and when you're up material, you should be looking to trade down usually, unless doing so removes a tactic on the board that can win you more material. Ultimately, chess is about material, and you should get it in your head that winning pawns is a good idea. But don't neglect tactics. Obviously, you need to be using tactics. But the point of the tactic is to give you a long-term advantage. And a tactic's worthless if it doesn't give you a long-term advantage. Just threatening something doesn't do anything if it doesn't establish a long-term advantage. And a material advantage is a long-term advantage. So win material to win chess. That's just the long and short of it. You're going to see little checkmates here and there when no one has a material advantage. It doesn't happen too often. Especially the better you get at chess, the more likely it's going to be coming down to tactics to win material, or position to win material, or things like that. I'm not a terribly tactical player. I'm a lot more of a positional player. But anyways, I win this material in the middle of the board, and now it puts him to a test. He can either give up this pawn here on c2, or if he defends that pawn, he can lose his bishop sitting here on f6. If he loses the bishop, he takes back and it jacks up his pawn structure, and that's the ultimate point of that trade, is to mess up his pawn structure. Now he can defend both by doing this. You can see he's undeveloping while I'm developing, and this will go well for me. I'm happy to let him undevelop. Probably what I do here is just attack this bishop. Again, there's nothing he can do to keep his pawns intact on this side. He's going to try and run his bishop away and things like that. I mean, these are the kind of things I'm looking at. Anyways, you can see I've got a pretty good thing going. That's just an idea off the top of my head while I'm sitting here. So after that, he went ahead and pushed his pawn. I check him. He takes, and I start developing. Now you can see I'm up a pawn, and his king side is trashed. He's got double pawns here. He's got an isolated H pawn. I've got a nice pawn chain going here. Anyone looking at this game will look at the board and say that black is clearly better, and that's always your goal, is to win. So I'm not going to show the rest of the game because it was really boring and ultimately ended up in a draw. But I just wanted to show you the tactics all working out here in the beginning. We're just going back here just so you can see the basic flow. Again, you just pile up on that d4 pawn with your queen on b6, with knights on f5 and on c6. Sometimes if you have your pawn, and if you don't have an exchange variation, you can use your pawn from c6 playing to c5 to initiate all that trading to weaken, the e5 pawn or something like that. A lot of times you'll trade on this square just to win the e5 pawn in the advanced variations and things. But a lot of the moves are the same in a lot of my games, and I hope that you're picking up on some patterns, and I really hope that some of you are trying these out, because it's a really fun game playing the Caro Kann's black. It's pretty sharp tactically if you want it to be. It can be slow and positional if you want it to be, and you can decide for yourself how you want to play it. But the Caro Kann is a really ripe game, and it's a lot of fun to play. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you pick it up, and I hope you tune in for some more videos.